Now it's March, and that's a time when the world celebrates Women's Day, and it's an opportunity for us to celebrate the achievements of girls and women, as well as call for greater equality. Now, did you know that our city has a plan to make sure that women's rights, issues, and opinions are represented fairly? The story I have for you today is about a regular girl who has a lot of chutzpah. And I wonder what kind of woman she might be when she grows up. Now, I understand some of you girls are going to be creating sound effects for this book, right?
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that'll make it come alive. Okay, this book is called The Most Magnificent Thing, written and illustrated by Ashley Spires. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things, and he unmakes things. And one day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She's going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. And all she has to do is make it. And she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant. Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. Does that look like it's out of the way? That's the sound of her building. That's awesome. The girl tinkers and hammers and measures, while her assistant pounces and growls and chews. When she's finished, she steps back to admire her work. She walks around one side. Her assistant examines the other side. It doesn't look right. Her assistant picks it up and gives it a shake. It doesn't feel right either. They are shocked to discover that the thing isn't magnificent or good. It isn't even the kind of sort of okay. It is all wrong. The girl tosses it aside and gives it another go. She smooths and wrenches and fiddles. Her assistant circles and tugs and wags. And when she's finished, she stands up and takes a long look at it. Her assistant gives it a nudge with his paw. The thing is still wrong. She decides to try again. The girl saws and glues and adjusts. She stands and examines and stares. She twists and tweaks and fastens. She fixes and straightens and studies. She tries all different ways to make it better. She makes it square, she makes it round. She gives it legs, she adds antenna. She makes it fuzzy, she makes it long, short, rough, smooth, big, small. One even smells of stinky cheese, but none of them are magnificent. Her hard work attracts a few admirers, but they don't understand. They can't see the magnificent thing that she has in her mind. She gets mad. The angrier she gets, the faster she works. She smashes pieces into shapes. She jams parts together. She pummels the little bits in. Her hands feel too big to work, and her brain is too full of all the not right things. If only the thing would just work. Crunch. Ever pinned your finger like that? It's not good. The pain starts in her finger, and it rushes up to her brain, and she explodes. It is not her finest moment. I'm no good at this. I quit. Her assistant suggests a walk. It's not much help at first, but before long she starts to feel different. Bit by bit, the mad gets pushed out of her head. As they stroll along, she comes across the first wrong thing she made. The bad feelings are about to start all over again. And then she notices something surprising. There are some parts of the wrong things that are really quite right. The bolts on one, the shape of another, the wheel-to-seat ratio of the next, there are all sorts of parts that she likes. By the time she reaches the end of the trail, she finally knows how to make the thing magnificent. She gets to work. She works carefully and slowly, tinkering, hammering, twisting, fiddling, gluing, painting. Her assistant makes sure that there are no distractions by chasing the squirrel. "This is the perfect thing to ward off bears," says this guy. "This will stop that leak. This one's all wet," says this guy. The afternoon fades into evening, and finally she finishes. She alerts her assistant. The pair take a good long look. It leans a little to the left, and it's a bit heavier than expected. The color could use a bit of work too, but it's just what she wanted. They climb aboard and take it for a spin, and they are not disappointed. It really is the most magnificent thing. So now you know what chutzpah means. I loved how this little girl, this maker, didn't give up. And for her, it was trial and error until she finally hit upon the solution. Now, I understand that your class visited a great place for makers in our city. Where did you guys go?
Makerspace.
Makerspace. There's so much you can do in the Makerspace, isn't there? It's a place for creativity, for exploring, and for learning. And the awesome sound effects were made with little bits from the Makerspace. And they are certainly fun, and EPL is the first Canadian library to be a global chapter for Little Bits, which means you'll be able to tinker with even more of them at each branch throughout the city. And you can find out more at epl.ca. So can you sign us off with some more Little Bit sound effects, girls?